for your patience. Truly, I do thank you very much. And zen-like music. Don't you love it? I do, very much. And I think now, though, it is time to see if this works properly. This will be the first experimental show with Radio Apocalypse, doing it from a different source. Yeah, I think it's time to start. What do you think? Let's do it. The sound.
Dishes last night.
Oh no. Oh no. I want to get myself spanked. Right, listen. This right now, what you're watching this very second, is not live. I pre-recorded this because I still can't get the sound to work for my phone. So I thought, well, if I I am so stopping that video right there. You guys will have seen it 40 seconds ago, and there's no sound coming through that bit, which is a shame. I pre-recorded that to see if I could get one last little corner of the desktop sound to work in my new setup and the way that we've got things just now. And yeah, well, you know what, it will play the videos happily and stuff like that, but I wanted to pre-record the weather window and the coffee because I can't get the stupid phone's microphone to work through my sound deck, which is a tragedy, and I couldn't figure it out last night after testing it all. But there you go. Good morning, Drax, and I'm just going to call you Drax. Okay, now I'm sure that Drax was a villain in a science fiction show that I used to watch as a kid. I could be wrong. But we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. Anyway, good morning. I'm glad you are here. I'm glad that we have made it to, what day is it today? Wednesday. We've made it to Wednesday, and it's 7:15 in the morning, and I'm speaking very quietly with my morning voice so I don't wake up my daughter, who's sleeping on the sofa. I think I have woken her up. She is stirring, and the boys are through in the bedroom, and my wife and baby are in our bedroom. And the only reason that I do the streaming part just now is because I have to keep control of the volume and make sure it doesn't intrude on my family's life, because there was one point where my loud voice would carry through and wake up my wife, and I don't want that. The day that she turns around and says to me again, nah, can't do that, and you're too noisy, is the day that I stop doing all this. But I have the challenge ahead of me this morning to optimise the video. So I'm going to ask you, Drax. Okay, you're watching this just now. I can't see if anybody else is yet. Oh, excuse me. When you're watching this, last night when I tested, I asked people to give me a clear marker of between 1 and 10 for lag. Okay, now I know that I'm getting latency issues because I'm getting warnings that I'm dropping 15% of my frames. Oh no, hold on, that was 6 hours ago. Oh, that was last night. We'll wait and see. Maybe this is actually working okay. We could be okay. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the stream on YouTube just now, and it seems to be flowing quite well. The CPU is sitting at 78%. 80%. Yeah. This is looking good. This is looking very positive. I'm astounded. I really am. I'm very happy. Very, very happy. Right, I'm going to have to... Yeah, what we do in the mornings, if you've never seen the show before, we usually go to the kitchen, make coffee the Rab way. I've made coffee already the Rab way. Usually make porridge if the kids aren't here, but the porridge will be made because the kids are here. The porridge will be made when they wake up. I don't like to make too much of a mess in the kitchen, even though it's already a mess. Oh God. I was up quite late again last night trying to figure out the sound, so I'm a bit yawny. And then we go to the weather window, which I pre-recorded on the phone to do the weather window, and it didn't work. The sound from it didn't work. is very frustrating. You know, I think maybe because I've got the intro music works, as far as I know, but the other parts don't. I'll figure it out, I'll figure it out. What we're going to do though is we will hit straight into the papers this morning, and when that happens I will not be able to see the chit chat. Actually no, we'll do something different. Okay, we will take the YouTube channel one, we will make that smaller and a separate window entirely. Yes, we can do that. Nice. And we'll have that sitting right there. Now I can see the chat. Fantastic. You can do all this. Technology's amazing. Right, so we keep you like that, and we have the papers like that, and then we move across to this little transition here so we can play with the papers. No, this is the papers. Yay! I can't believe we did it. We did it. Right, so let me just check the sound again. I need to keep an eye on everything. Yep, you can still hear me, which is good. Right, papers. Back to, whoops, no, that's not the one that we want to do. We want to do that. Where's the one, where has the... We've lost the papers. Right, let me just have a quick look at why the papers have disappeared. Why did they disappear? It's no good. Technical difficulties with Streamlabs. We will get used to this. We shall get used to this. And there we go, hold on. Papers window. Right, nice. Why are you sitting on... You shouldn't be sitting on that. You should be sitting on that one there. We will do that. And we will do that. And then you see my deck. I've got to tell it to look at something else before it will work again. And then we'll go back to that, back to Chrome. And okay that. And there's the papers back again. There we go. The things you've got to do. This is all part of the technology upgrade, and the technology upgrade is a great thing. It allows a lot more flexibility, but the learning curve is ridiculous for Mo. But let us have a close look at the morning papers. I think it'll be a good day. This is a terrible thing in America just now. My son, the way he described it was, America's on fire, Dad. America is on fire, and it's awful. My brother reported on something brutal last night. I never watched it. He phoned and told me, the stuff that he'd received and everything, but it's wow. Right, Daily Mirror, lifeline for summer holidays abroad. Crazy. Listen, we're going back to talking very quickly about America. Trump fans the flames. I reckon that we'll have a closer look at exactly what this is. Maybe at the end of the show tonight, maybe we'll do a quick piece in the afternoon. I don't know, but it's something that needs to be looked at in greater detail. It's awful, absolutely awful. Anyway, back to the papers. Lifeline for summer holidays abroad. This is the Daily Mirror, and Daily Mirror is an average paper, but the little blurb says, many of Wednesday's front pages assess whether Britons will be likely to get a summer holiday this year. The Daily Mirror suggests the prospect of a break has been thrown a lifeline, responding to the government's quarantine plan requiring people arriving in the UK to self-isolate for 14 days. It could be relaxed. Number 10 said the scheme, which applies to all travellers, including most UK nationals, would be reviewed. Health Secretary Matt Hancock also said he was optimistic about people's holidays prospects. They're talking about these things called air bridges, where there will be the opportunity for people to travel to countries that set up agreements that, we're following strict decontamination and quarantine protocols, etc. So if you have a country that is being good and you're a good country, there will be flights between them. Alright, there'll be flights between them. If you're a country that's not so good, you're not going to get an air bridge. However, that doesn't mean that the virus isn't going to jump ship or jump a plane. They just have to be careful, very careful. Right, the Daily Star. Don't forget your toothbrush. Brits summer holidays joy. Love it. Don't forget your toothbrush, says the Daily Star, alongside a picture of a suitcase plastered with stickers. One of which is from Barnard Castle, in reference to Number 10's aide Dominic Cummings' trip to Durham. The paper reports foreign holidays look to be back on the cards as Britain's delighted. The paper says the government is considering air bridges, that's what we just talked about, to low-risk areas so tourists can avoid self-isolating for 14 days when they return. That's not good. I don't get it. Oh, big yawn again. Okay, I'm going to take 10 seconds to say just now, if you are watching, say hello in the chat. I know that Drax has said hello, and it doesn't show me who is in the chat, who is here just now. So I'm going to just do a wee message as well, basically saying good morning. Good morning. How are we all? Please say hello. I like to interact with people. I do. It's important to interact. Right, let's get back to the papers. The Daily Mail is the next one. You know how much I really don't like the Daily Mail. Is the Daily Fail, in my opinion, and it's a rubbish one. As ministers scramble to soften 14-day quarantine plans, the Mail demands on behalf of lockdown Britain that Boris must step in to save our summer holidays. Dun dun dun. Yeah, whatever. Okay, the Daily Mail makes a plea to Boris Johnson to save our summer holidays. The paper reports that the Prime Minister has told ministers to keep people's hopes of a gateway summer and is pushing for the air bridges, which could see people travelling without restrictions between the UK and some countries. It quotes that Number 10 source as saying the PM does not want to be standing in the way of people's holidays unnecessarily. I think it's worthwhile going to this camera for a little bit of a rant, actually. We're doing so well just now. We are doing so very, very well, and we're not going against the curve, we're going with the curve. And we don't need to turn round and jeopardise that. It's one summer. Why don't we, instead of having a holiday abroad, why don't we stay at home and boost the local economies and go and visit places? Stay at home, but go and visit local places. Get some money back into the UK. Sorry, I don't call it the UK. I call it these islands. It has to be these islands, and wow. When you turn round and you have a good thing going on, you know, and it's been a shit thing, but you've now got a good thing, a better thing, and you're going in the positive direction to look after it, why would you just want to jeopardise that anymore? You know, it doesn't make sense to me. It really, 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 really doesn't make any sense at all to me. But that's what it is. That's what it is. It's one of those let's not make sense type things going on, and we will just we'll just have it like that. You know, nobody cares. You know, it's just the way that it is, and it drives me bananas. It really does drive me bananas about the whole thing. I think it's only because I'm behind closed doors, shielding from the world and trying to make sure that my little household is okay about it all. You know, it's an important thing. It's dead important. Dead important. But we'll go back to the papers anyway, and we will continue with our chat about the papers. But this saving our summer holidays thing that's just down there is... Nah, it's a shame. It's a real shame. Daily Telegraph is up next. And the Daily Telegraph is saying we owe it to the victims to impose quarantine. MPs do the coronavirus conga to cast a vote. Look at that. This is social distancing. That picture there is social distancing in our parliament. Talk about setting an example. That's probably the most positive thing I've seen come out of Westminster forever. For absolute ever. I think so. I think that's quite amazing, actually. Let's read what it says. Okay. I'm just looking at this other little headline here. It says Johnson takes control in shake-up at number 10 and Welby weighs in behind critics of Trump. Well, okay. We'll look that up in a minute too as well. Home Secretary Priti Patel. She does not have a pretty attitude at all. She's pretty shit at her job. She's pretty dark. She's pretty selfish. She's pretty awful, to be perfectly honest. And as many other different pretty euphemisms I can get in one little part of my show. Home Secretary Priti Patel also mentions air bridges in an article she has written for the Daily Telegraph, but she does not give a date. Writing in the paper with Transport Secretary Grant Shapps, is that Shapps? Yes. She defended the government's plan to quarantine new arrivals and warns tough travel measures are important to prevent a second peak of the virus. Home Office sources stress that air corridors may not be possible by the end of this month. That's fine. I'm happy with that. If Priti Patel says, hey, wait a minute, we're not going to do this, that's pretty sensible. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do this all day. Alright, there'll be lots of pretty things going on. The Guardian, we don't mind The Guardian, that's the next paper. Look at that main thing there. Starmer warns PM to get a grip of second wave of coronavirus. Okay. UK virus death toll reaches 50,000. Hold on, this is also worth a little rant as well here in Big Boy Cam. I'm going to move the camera around a bit so I can look better into it. There we go. Happy days. This death toll thing really frustrates the crap out of me in ways that are just, it's just awful. Okay, some of the death toll stats have not been done properly in the UK, allegedly. Okay, we will probably be hitting over 70,000. Then there's the anomalies of people who, because they can't do post-mortems or autopsies properly just now, they're just labelling people died of coronavirus, so it inflates the thing. So it's either they're hiding the true amount, which is greater, or they're inflating the true amount to push something on a different agenda later on. But I want to put that to the side. That's all speculation. I am devastated for the families that have been touched by this globally. People die all the time, and we have, more people potentially will have died of flu and of cancer, and we've not stood up and done the same things, invested the same amount of money into these things. And I think that's awful. And I feel that the governments of the world have no credibility unless they're prepared to actually do something positive for the other big killing viruses and diseases in the world. And they all need to be held to account. Even the best governments, even the New Zealand government, you've done a great job over there, a really good job. Continue that good work and move forward in a better, more positive direction with it, with other things. Take that momentum and that paradigm shift of we're going to do the right thing and move on with it. That's not the way the world works, though. All right, I'm not even an optimist. I don't see the glass half empty or half full. I see it's got the right amount of water in it, and a little drip to make it more a bit better every time a little bit evaporates. Just over that level of the negative balance and have the more positive balance. That is truly how I feel about it. But that will not happen. That's not going to happen at all. And it's a shame, because what it boils down to, and we can see that with the papers about Brits going abroad for their holidays, not wanting to stand in the way of them having a good time. It boils down to egos being stroked and money. And politicians are individuals that need to have their ego stroked. There's only a few good politicians. The good leaders within the political sphere I call statesmen. And I don't care what anybody says, alright? If you were to put up all the leaders of Great Britain right now, Boris Johnson, okay, even Dominic Cummings, a leader, I'll put him in the sphere as well, the First Minister of Wales, First Secretary of Northern Ireland, and the First Minister of Scotland. Okay, if you were to compare all these people on a scale of statesman-like qualities, the ability to lead the nation, you can decide yourself on the way, just from the way the coronavirus has been handled, who the most genuine statesmen are and in which order. People will wholeheartedly disagree with me and say that Nicola Sturgeon is an arse. Okay, I'm not going to get too political on this, but do we have free prescriptions here? Yes. Do we have the bus passes remaining for the elderly and retired? Yes. If you want to go to university here, do you have to pay tuition fees? No. Is it the exact opposite under the Westminster regime in pretty much every country in these islands? Yes. Has Nicola been on television every single day discussing the coronavirus and She may have been trained and coached, but does she look as if she's got a bit of empathy? Does she look as if she's having a tough time with this? Yes. Is she an arse? To some people, yes, and I get why you don't like her, but I'm sorry, if you want to tick the boxes, alright, she is a far, far different person and leader compared to Boris Johnson. And even Tory friends of mine who voted for Boris have turned round and clearly stated the thing they hate the most about this is they have to admit that Nicola Sturgeon has done a fantastic job at keeping the information flowing, to keeping the Scotland ahead of the game and doing the right thing. Okay, so I'm very much a man for Scottish independence. I am a card-carrying member of the Scottish National Party. Okay, we get called nationalists, which is a connotation of an insult about being Nazi, and you couldn't get something that is further afield from being Nazi. Now, I will stick my hands up right now. The SNP has its roots and its history in Nazi leaders away back round the Second World War. Of course it does. Wait a minute, the Conservative Party have their history in slave traders. The Labour Party have their roots in communism. Do things not evolve and move forward? Do you really think that the Scottish National Party is Nazi? Anyway, I'm digressing. The point being is that our leaders in the UK are shit. Okay, they're rubbish. I'm specifically talking about Westminster. They're a bunch of clowns. They're a bunch of pantomime clowns. They're a bunch of... They're just pointless. We need to move away. We need to move away from these islands to an independent Scotland in charge of our own destiny. And you'll slowly hear my political views. I'm thinking about doing the Friday morning show as a dedicated sort of roundup to British politics. I think that would be a show. It's something I need to get it off my chest. I find it very difficult. I'm quite a political animal, and I will go through the articles, and I will be unbiased. I will show the articles and discuss the articles that criticise the SNP, because I don't think that they're gods. I know that they've got faults. I know that everything is not peachy or perfect within the party, and I know that it's not peachy or perfect within the Scottish Parliament. Right? There's more things that we could do. However, the opposition, they never seem to come up with a policy idea to do things. But again, that's because the opposition is related directly to Westminster, who is all talk and no action. Right, I'm sorry, we kind of digressed big there. We will go back to the papayers and take it from there and talk more about them. Right, here we go. Guardian. Starmer warns to get a grip or risk second wave of coronavirus. Starmer is the opposition at Westminster. He is Keir Starmer. Sir Keir Starmer is the leader of the Labour Party in the UK. He's a handsome, articulate gentleman, but he's a knight of the realm. He is a sir. And I don't think that sits well with the working class people of the UK, having a sir as a leader of the supposedly left centre to left Labour Party. I don't think that sits well at all with them. But he's right. The Prime Minister does need to get a grip or risk a second wave of the virus. Okay, so The Guardian has an interview with Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer, who says launched a stinging attack as a Prime Minister. Sir Keir accused Mr Johnson of winging it over the easing of lockdown. Yep, that's pretty much it. And said he needed to get a grip. The paper says he also suggested that some changes to relax the lockdown could have been timed to attempt to deflect attention away from the row over Dominic Cummings' trip to Durham. That is quite apt. I mean, people will be sitting there groaning now going, oh, that's not true. Well, where has Dominic Cummings' spanking got to? You know how much I feel I'm a big pit of hatred for that man. You know, I don't hate people, but when it comes to Dominic Cummings, when it comes to that man, it drives me insane. I just don't get him at all. I think that he's a narcissist, a psychopath, everything that you could possibly imagine in somebody. I truly think that he's awful, beyond anything at all. I am going to look up the video that I did for him and play that video at the end of the show today, because I made a very quick, crappy video about Dominic Cummings being a bit of a psychopath, and I truly think that it is worthwhile playing it. So as I ramble just now and kill for time, there's the Dominic Cummings video there. We will bring that up, we will pause it, and we will be ready to play that at the end of the show, which is good. Right, the other thing that is in the papers just now on this particular page is to do with Donald Trump. Anger grows at Trump's handling of US protests. I think we need to have a quick look at that at the end of the show as well. I really do. I think it's important. But let's have a quick look just now. I want to see if I have any other chit-chat coming up. I can't see any other chit-chat. I don't know whether this is running behind or anything like that on the chit-chat. The one thing about this, it doesn't actually show me as well. I've not figured it out how to do to see if how many people are watching it. So I can't turn around and say, hey, there's 2 of you there, come and say hello. So I'm going to say again, if you're watching just now, just say hello. I love to interact with you. I love to be able to talk with you and say things and basically interact directly with my tiny little audience. But it's good. Right. The Metro. Beaten with the president's blessing. Now, if anybody... the newspapers are biased. The media is biased. I get that. Alright? But what is going on here? Let's just quickly read what it says here. The Metro's top story focuses on the latest coronavirus figures in the UK, suggesting that there is a so-called north-south COVID-19 divide, and that is getting wider. New infections nearly twice as widespread in Yorkshire and the northeast of England than in London, the paper said. Meanwhile, the striking photo on the front page shows a protester outside a church in Washington clashing with a police officer as protests over the death of George Floyd continue. What it fails to mention is that the president was going to go to a particular place and they had to clear the way of protesters in quite a horrendous way, you know. We will look at this. We will look at it in a bit more detail as we go through, and it's terrible to think that we've got less infection down south compared to the northeast. However, I hate to say it, right? What they're talking about in London and the southeast of England is you have this enclave, this incredible little piece of Great Britain, of these islands, which has a lot more money and a lot more investment coming into it. So you can imagine that with that there could be stricter things going on. The people will be doing different things down there. Up in the northeast, you've got more working class people that will think they're a bit tougher than anything else, and all the rest of it, they'll probably be, it's a bit more impoverished, so the way that they do social stuff will be socially with people, and there might be a little bit of turning around and not relaxing of the rules physically but mentally, and then they come in contact with it. Maybe they're not doing the right things. There's something that's different anyway, definitely, without a doubt. There's something different, and we have to examine that in a greater detail of it all. But yeah, it's just one of those things that it's just an awful thing. But the most awful thing, when I look at the papers, when I look at that headline, is beaten with the president's blessing. What's the world coming to? You know? It's an awful, awful thing. Let's move on. The biggest crisis UK universities have ever seen. What? Okay. The newspaper predicts a pandemic will spark the biggest funding crisis ever seen in UK universities. It says students may have to live in social bubbles with the same people who are on their course and on fresher weeks. Wow, the time for new undergraduates to socialise with each other, that's freshers week, will be virtual. Oh my God. Right, that makes perfect sense. You know, we've got party animals about to leave high school and go to university. They are going to turn round and be in a situation they're not going to be able to do anything. My daughter leaves primary 7 this year. She leaves elementary school, equivalent in America, to go to high school. And we don't have a junior high over here. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, she's missing out on the transition of going to high school, which is a big old deal over here. It's a massive big old deal for that. And I think that I think it's a shame, but it's something that we have to do. But what can you do? You know, it's just one of those things. Just quickly looking up Donald Trump at the church. Donald Trump at the church. Protesters. Just so we can see what happened. Right, okay. Right, there we go. We'll look up that one afterwards. Republicans chastised Trump for ousting protesters at the photo op. Yeah, we'll come back onto that, which is good. Right, let's go back to the papers anyway and continue with our coverage of that. The thing is, though, right, when you look even just in the corner here, history makers, right, echoes of the 1968 fight against racism. It's very much like that, you know. It's a bit crazy. Anyway, we'll move on. The Sun. Ooh, Daisy. After Strictly, my hair fell out. I didn't sleep and ended up in rehab twice. Good girl. Tipple whammy. 250 million pints off to the pubs. Deaths at zero soon. EasyJet's holiday plans. It's like, well, we can get drunk, we can celebrate, there's no deaths, and then we can go on holiday. Amazing. Right, so the Sun suggests the UK is heading for 3 boosts. It's a fight in its fight against the virus. It reports that the breweries are aiming to produce 250 million pints for pubs in the next 2 weeks, amid the hopes that they could reopen by the end of June. The paper also suggests that the number of weekly excess deaths could, that's the word, could, not definite, but could, soon be at zero. Could soon be at zero. And EasyJet are planning to fly to 3 in 4 destinations by August. That's good. But, you know, if you're not allowed to go and travel, then what the hell is the purpose of that? The Daily Express. Well, here we go. Extra penny on the tax to fix care crisis. Yeah. Now, the funny thing is, okay, care homes, there is the majority of care homes in the UK, the privately operated ones, are owned by many Tory party members and sympathisers towards it. And yeah, that's because they're business people. I get that. That's me being a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Critical of their motives, okay? Because what they're doing there is they get a lot of money in for the care of people, and again it boils down to soulless entities and the profit-making machine of businesses having more rights over the individuals. And I'll be honest with you, it drives me bananas in ways that you can't possibly begin to think of. I think that human beings should have more rights over soulless entities. I mean, you cannot murder a company. You cannot actually physically go out and murder Walmart. It's impossible. It's not something that can be killed. Okay, but Walmart as a company can kill you. That's it in a nutshell. So the company's soulless entities that interact with human beings need to be held to a higher standard as well. Of how they operate, and care homes is a perfect example of that. So when you actually look at care homes as a whole, all right, if the people that own them are putting profit before the actual care that they provide for people, then that's a big issue with me, and that's where a lot of the problems with care homes and coronavirus came into it. So what we're looking at here is an extra penny on tax to fix care crisis. Now, they're already going to be putting tax into tax hikes into place to pay for what they've just done. And look at this, end scandal of selling homes to pay care costs. People have to do that. Hancock admits reforms pushed aside for too long. The Express carried out what it calls a damning survey, which suggests 2/3 of the over 55s are willing to pay an extra penny in their income tax to fund social care. It says 41% of those surveyed backed a ring-fenced tax increase. The papers say the failings on social care system have been cruelly exposed by the coronavirus pandemic. Mr. Hancock has pledged radical reforms. Let's just get something straight right now, okay, right off the bat, right? This is something that has needed to be done before this for a long time. Okay, the NHS has been chipped away with private companies coming in, and my beloved Scottish Nationals have done it as well. They have done a couple of things. I think it's part of the logistics, the way that the supplies are coming in, and the logistics network that puts it out is a private company. Okay, that worked more efficiently. Now, don't get me wrong, see things like that are non-medical. If a private company can actually deliver that better than a government-funded company, I'm not against that, okay? What I am against is things like private companies providing the food. I think that should be as a central point of the hospital by the NHS. I truly do, and I think that's important. I think you should put the management of wards away from non-medical staff and put it back into the hands of a couple of administrators and the sort of matrons, the head nurses of that ward. They should be managing it as well. I feel that the system needs a massive overhaul, and I think it's a joke if they think that they're going to fix it with just a penny. It needs to be more. It needs to be, 2 pence. What? 2 pence in the pound. Listen, there's other things as well. I'm not a smoker, alright, I'm an ex-smoker, but we all know that smoking causes, heavy smoking and continual smoking will cause you respiratory problems, which will cost a fortune for the medical care in the future. So why isn't your choice cost more just now, and you have a ring-fenced tax around tobacco? because it's something that we know has major health implications for people in the future. You're just slowly basically going to be hurting yourself. All right, that's fine. And of course smokers will be going, no, we can't do that, that's outrageous. Pay for your own fucking medical costs then. All right, why do I have to pay for it? Why do I have to pay for it? Okay, and I'm an ex-smoker. I'm not... Smoke if you like. I don't care. Alright, I don't care about that. What I care about is your ability to look after yourself in the future and me paying for it through my taxes. Alright, that's your choice, and you're allowed to have that choice. But if that choice is going to affect other people, then you have to turn around and take responsibility and ownership for that. Okay, you can't just be like mollycoddled as a tiny little person going, oh, you've got respiratory orders, how did that happen then? Oh, did you smoke when you were like, oh, did you smoke? That's okay, we'll look after you. Guys, we need a whip round. We need a whip round of some cash for Bertie here. He's got like we're stroking. It's okay, Bertie, you just cough up that tar. Oh, you've only got one lung now. That's okay, that's okay. Do you get me? Okay, why do we have to pay for you guys in the future? I would have exceptionally draconian, anything that is exceptionally bad. We started it up here in Scotland already with the sugar tax. Okay, people were outraged, and yeah, quite rightly so. Okay, but it's your choice. High concentrated sugar sweet products have got slightly elevated tax that is paid for initially by the companies, and then part of it goes on to the consumers with the way that it's actually taxed, and I'm all for that. We then put in place as well minimal pricing for alcohol. So for a particular unit of alcohol you pay more money for, so per unit it has to be a minimal price per unit, so it makes other things makes alcoholic things more expensive. And what that has actually done is has curbed a lot of the alcohol related crimes in Scotland, and that's something that can be done, and alcohol related diseases, because people are drinking less. So when it comes to the management of civilization and your health care, why are they not doing it with tobacco as much? Because I would ring fence a higher taxation thing and make 20 cigarettes a ridiculous price. You're just going to have, for a year, you're going to have a bunch of narky people not getting their fix, but you'll get over it. You will get over it. I truly say so. These are just my opinions. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. It's just my opinions. I'm going to go and see if I've got anything in the chat window, or if the chat window is actually working. Cannot see. Ah, there's my mum. Good morning, mum. How are you? And Barry's there as well. Thank you for coming. I can't see the chat very well on this, but let us head back to the papers anyway. I've got a video to show. The Times. PM offers hope of refuge to 3 million Hong Kong people. Okay. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has written in the Times, but not about coronavirus. Mr. Johnson says Britain will have no choice but to offer the people of Hong Kong a route to UK citizenship if China strips them of their freedom. Mr. Johnson says he would willingly change UK immigration rules to offer Hong Kong's 3 million residents extended visa-free access to Britain. China is seeking to impose a new law undermining its authority, undermining its authority a crime in the territory. Okay, right, let's get something totally straight just now. I am all for supporting freedom throughout the world, okay? I'm all for that. But let's get Brexit done. All these stupid people coming across from Europe taking our jobs, all these incredible people, in China, we will offer you freedom in Britain. What's wrong with European people? That was one of the, let's take Britain back, let's control our immigration. Oh yes, well, 3 million Chinese people, that's controlling that's our choice. Yes, your choice. Okay, absolutely. But what about all these people that did the voting for Brexit on the back of, we don't want people coming into this country? You know, that's going to be 3 million potential Chinese people coming in, you know? Wow. And one of the excuses about Europe as well was we don't know who's coming in with freedom of movement. We could have people coming in that are potential terrorists. What about potential Chinese dissidents sneaking in and spying on us? It's all bullshit. It really is. It's all smoke and mirrors nonsense. You know, there's the reason for leaving the EU, it's got nothing to do with what they said. You know, Boris said way back in 2016, you know, £350 million a week to the NHS. Have we seen a penny of that? You know, was that a lie? Yes. Has he got away with lying again? Yes. Should he be held to account? Of course he should. Every politician that basically doesn't speak in truths or facts should be held to account. There should be a 3 strikes and you're out system for that. And I'm sorry, that's the way it should be. I think managers of civilization should be held to the highest account. The highest accountability that we can possibly put on them in this land. It's ridiculous. If you don't do your job at managing civilization, then, you know, you shouldn't be doing it. Crazy. Financial Times. We like the Financial Times because it's the same colour as my look at that. See my bookcasey shelves thing. The Financial Times is the same colour as that. That's the only reason we like that paper. Brussels seeks to curb takeovers by state-subsidised foreign rivals. Interesting. What is this? Anger grows over Trump. Yes. No wonder, because he's rubbish. Hancock rebuked by regulator over mistrusted COVID-19 figures. These are quite good headlines. I might actually start looking at this paper a bit more detail. The Financial Times says it has seen plans showing the EU's seeking new powers to rein in what he believes is unfair competition from China and elsewhere. The European Commission is suggesting greater scrutiny of companies that are state-owned or subsidised by foreign government. That's fair enough. The paper says that the plans are likely to stoke tensions of a sensitive time in the EU's relations with China, and that there is the papers. That is so good. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is I am going to queue up, where is it? The Dominic Cumming video, and we'll just get that set into the middle there just now. And hang on. This is something that I put on YouTube myself. If you don't know who Dominic Cumming actually is, he's the PM's advisor and most senior aide, and he broke ridiculous lockdown rules. This is a 2-minute video that I'm going to do myself just now, and I basically made it with the fair use policy. It's not been taken down yet, which is great. It's had quite a number of views, but here, watch him just now. His body language, this is all about his body language and what we call duper's delight, and his way of handling the press conference last Monday, on the 25th of May, not Monday just gone, the Monday before, he basically gaslit the whole nation, right? He just basically talked shit, and at the end of it, you can see his little smirk and what we call duper's delight. But here we go, have a look at this. What a sound.
Well, not really, because these people know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So you can't compare it to autism or schizophrenia or any other kind of thing like delusional psychosis, because these people with those conditions are genuinely ill, and they're not in control of their actions.
Yeah.
The scary thing about a psychopath is they're absolutely very much in control of their actions. They do this deliberately, and they love it, because what happens is when they pull off a fast one, like these guys are describing at the train station, they get a rush of adrenaline in their brains. and it's like it's like a rush, a buzz.
Yeah.
And what happens is the psychopath becomes addicted to this rush of adrenaline. That's why they often, when they pull a fast one, there's often a smirk.
Watch 'em.
That's the adrenaline. There's actually a clinical term for that called duper's delight. Like if they dupe somebody, duper's delight. I call it the autoferrol response, but it's the same kind of idea. They get a rush of adrenaline when they pull a fast one on someone, and they get that rapid smirk, and then the kind of condescending look they give towards you.
Right, here you go. Okay, hold on, can you hear me? Let me just check that this is still working. Yes. No? Is my sound back? Oh, no, we don't want that. No, Pyrenees cannot help. There we go, hold on, and let me just check chat, because for some reason I am not hearing myself at all. That's not good. Hold on. Okay. But what's he getting? Turn of offering this. I don't know what context that was in, Barry. And yeah, hold on. Yep. Oh, okay. No, I can hear myself now. That's okay. That's good. Right, sound's fine. Yeah, sound is fine. I don't know what context what your comment was there, my friend. I really don't know. Because I missed it there. No, you can't hear me at all. Yeah, screw you, buddy. Okay, thank you. Yes, so long and short of it, I don't trust Dominic Cummings in the slightest, in any manner or form. And at the end of the day, we are at his beck and call, because he's the one that kind of holds the leash with Boris, and he likes checking the sound. Is that better? Can you hear me now? I hope so. Let's see if onboard sound is also working. Okay. Right. Okay. Is that better? Just drop me a little note to say if it's better, please. No sound. There we go. And we're also on a 40-second delay. So I'm hoping, yeah, cool. Thank you. That's good. Right. let us put a little bit of nice music to calm us all at the end of the show. Let me have a little mouthful. The time now is 20 to 8. I am going to go and wake up my children as we return ourselves to a zen-like state with oriental music and potentially a little poem to finish the day with. I will randomly pull a poem up and see what we have in the random digital poetry book, which is my iPhone. We have done that one before. We've done that one before. Have we done that one before? Yes. Okay. Right, this is called synchronous vibrations. Okay, and I will read it to you, and we will talk about it. Okay, and what we will do is we shall bring down the sound a little bit of that music and just have it gently playing. Okay, synchronous vibrations, harmonious vibrations, attracting what we feel. Some doubt it truly does exist, but believe me, it is real. Misery loves company. Love will conquer all. Wallow in self-pity, and you shall truly fall. Such souls so far apart changed the way they move and found themselves sharing an unseen perfect groove. The magnetism that brought them together from afar, a uniting vibrational state, each shared this perfect star. When together they feel complete and whole and true, because they resonate together. This is me, and this is you. And I wrote that for my present-day wife, excuse me, to show how much we actually have in common about stuff. And yeah, it was just one of those amazing things. Right, tonight we are, where are we? There we go. Tonight we are going to be doing this amazing thing. Hold on, I need to find there it is. I just need to make that a bit bigger so we can. I'm editing on the sly here in the window next to us, and let's look at what we're doing tonight. Tonight, we are talking about cult behaviours. Okay, this isn't about cults and the who's who of cults. This is about the behaviours of cult-like situations and people going from such things in the 60s as Beatlemania, the incredible collective outpouring of emotion when boy bands split up. You know, internet personalities such as Susie Lou and her collective fandom actually going and causing harm. There's quite a few other cases of that as well, and the sort of like the people that take advantage of this collective power of people that are around them, you know, and the abuse that they can cause to people. We're going to look at those behaviours, and I think it's important. It's something that I've looked into since I first started the idea in my head for the human condition as a show. So this is tonight at 10:30. I don't know how long the show will last. We're going to be looking at things like the top 10 signs that you're in a cult, and some of that will be looked at from a religious point of view, and you know, we can examine that, but that's not what this is about. This is about social cults, the social behaviours of cult-like entities and the way that people behave within this collective group from the top down, and how that all works, okay? Because a lot of these behaviours in the social groups, like again, we're using Susie Lou as an example. I'm not saying that everybody that's a Susie Lou fan is a maniac and is prepared to go out and, you know, do terrible things. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is that sometimes within these collective groups you do have maniacs, and the maniacs that, you know, they come on and they passively aggressively sort of like toast the world with a, hey, do you know what, so and so did this to me today. I think it's terrible that they've done that to me. And you know something? It's forgivable. It's okay. It's fine. And I'm going to be okay with it. Meanwhile, the followers in the background are like, let's kill them. You know? That's what happens. And I think it's a mark of society when we have such a global thing as the internet, that there's little enclaves of unseen cult-like behaviour springing up digitally all over the world, and we have to be aware of it. We have to consciously be aware of the toxic nonsense behind it all, you know. So trust me when I say it's something that is happening. It's something that you all need to be aware of, and it's something that can be dealt with quite easily, only if you recognise it. The biggest problem that you have with cult behaviours is denial. Think about that. Think about that as we roll away into the misty morning of Scotland, and I wake my children up and start to make porridge. Okay, so you guys have a great morning. I will leave you with some Zen-like music just to spirit you away to a better place. Have a good morning, and I wish you all a perfect day.